breastfeeding is natural, but does it come as natural as it seems? Not exactly. There is just a lot to breastfeeding. And in this video, I will share tips that I've learned during the last 9 months. Stay tuned because you want to know this. Hi girls, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, then welcome. My name is Karina. I make videos on motherhood, pregnancy, natural birth and breastfeeding topics every week to help you girls be confident mamas. If this sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing and hit that bell icon to get notified about a fresh video every single Thursday. So I have soon to be 10 months old baby, and we had a rough start of our breastfeeding journey, and I have a whole separate video about it. But long story short, my full-term baby had troubles breathing on her own, wasn't able to breastfeed, and spent a few days in NICU. So I had to start my lactation on my own. But after that, breastfeeding have been smooth and we're still going strong. You know, there is so much wrong advice out there, and that's why I deeply believe that you must educate yourself on breastfeeding topic before having a baby. And the best way to do it is to take a breastfeeding course from a lactation specialist. This is what I did. And now I can distinguish a bad advice from good because I know basics, and even more at this point. With this being said, in this video I won't talk about some obvious things like producing colostrum before milk, for example. And I'm not a lactation specialist. I won't try to teach you how to get a correct latch, but I will share my mistakes so you can learn from them. This is more of a mom talk. Previously, I made a few other breastfeeding videos and they are very helpful. I will leave the link to that playlist on top here and in the description below. Make sure to check them out when this video is done. Alright, there is no particular order to my tips, so let's just start with the ones that I've learned recently. You better feed your baby in a few different positions because clogged milk ducts are no joke. And I will be honest with you girls, I was lazy in a way and I only breastfed her in a cradle position and laying down on the side because other positions I found to be not very comfortable. However, I knew that it's better to have her empty my breast from all the sides. Until last week, I was getting away with it, but a glass of wine I had between feedings was a trigger. Alcohol increases your supply, but decreases oxytocin, which controls your letdown. And as you know, a chain fails at its weakest link, and I got a little lump on the spot that gets drained the least. The spot was getting red and painful, and I started to breastfeed her in a football position, and the duct unclogged in one day. Now I will be switching between football, cradle and laying down position, and hopefully this will help to drain my breast better. If this will ever happen to you, just pick a position in which your baby's chin will be pointed towards the lamp, and this will help to drain that spot most effectively. The next tip is also something that I skipped on in the beginning, unfortunately. Burp your baby. Yes, breastfeeding process is not the same as bottle feeding, and we all know that while your baby eating from the bottle, he or she will definitely swallow some air, which will take space in their tummy, make them eat less and cause gases. And with breastfeeding, it shouldn't happen if the latch is right. And I knew that, and I didn't burp her while I should have. Either the latch was not always right, or maybe she was getting air when she was getting on and off me. But the advice is don't be lazy and stubborn like I was. Just get your baby in the upright position, rub her back and see if she burps or not. Better to spend a couple of minutes on this than have a fussy baby. Now, burping at night. When I realized that I better burp her, I got a question. What about nighttime? My baby falls asleep feeding laying down, and if I try to lift her, she will wake up. Well, apparently we shouldn't worry about it too much because babies eat slower at night and less likely to swallow air. However, if you are able to burp your baby without waking her up, do it, it's better. It's still possible when they are newborns. I didn't burp her at night and I still don't because here comes my next tip. Learn to feed laying down on the side. It's just so easy after you figure it out. You can rest with your baby. Feedings should not be exhausting. You should also try the biological feeding position when the baby is on top. This is what I did with her when she was a newborn. I swear, this made the biggest difference, because getting up at night to feed her sitting down was a torture for me. I started to get sleep deprived, and at some point I felt a strong need to change something. I needed more rest. I wanted to be the best version of myself to take care of my baby, while I wasn't myself at all. This is how we started to co-sleep little by little, and I have a whole video about it. But the thing is that you have to do what works best for your family. And if it is one of the safe forms of co-sleeping, go for it. Just follow the safety rules and do it. Don't think what people would say, because most of the breastfed babies after the sleep regression wake up about every 2 hours, sometimes even more often. So figure it out, ask what works for your spouse, check what works for you and your baby, and do it. Another thing I want you to be mentally prepared for is that breastfeeding might be painful for you in the beginning. And of course I knew that, but I didn't expect for it to hurt for the whole months. Yes, that's what happened to me, but everybody is different, and I think it has something to do with the sensitivity of your skin in general. But just in case, get ready for that and know that it will pass, and stay strong because it all worth it. Although, I want you to check for the correct latch first of all, and check for the tongue and lip tie. I wanted to make sure about it from the beginning, so I asked the doctor in the hospital to check her mouth. And I recommend you do the same, because if you get the lip tie and tongue tie out of the way, it's easier to determine what causes a bad latch and the pain along with it. Let me tell you about breastfeeding pillows. I thought that those will be all I need, but no. Stack up on a lot of different size pillows and have them next to the place where you will be breastfeeding the most, because you will probably need to adjust the height of your breastfeeding pillow by putting one more underneath of it, and you will probably want a pillow behind your back, and for the football position you will definitely want more pillows, so just keep that in mind. Test what you eat. We all know that there is no such a thing like a strict diet for a breastfeeding mom, but I want you to test your food. And what I mean by that is just pay attention to what you eat and how your baby reacts. Is she more fussy? Is she more gassy? Her stool changed? Just identify what could cause the reaction and remove it from your diet. Usually it would be one of the 8 allergens, which is milk, dairy, eggs, fish, shellfish, tree nut, peanut, wheat, and soy. I quit dairy before having her, just in case, since it's the biggest allergen, and it has been a year since then, and I recently posted a video where I share if I think it was worth it. I will have it linked in the description and up here. However, sometimes some random foods can cause a reaction. For example, my baby gets gassy when I eat a lot of mushrooms. So ideally, it's better to test those 8 allergic foods one by one from the day 1 after you give birth, and to see if your baby gets a reaction, but also watch for some other foods too. Growth spurts. Once again, I have a whole separate video about how to get through them as quick as possible, but here I just want to say that you should really listen to me and forget about everything else but you and your baby as much as it's possible, and get cozy in the bed, because only skin to skin and constant cluster feeding will help you to get over with it as fast as possible. For more details on this topic, watch this video. What were your breastfeeding mistakes, and did you also have wrong expectations? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope this video was helpful. If so, give it thumbs up so more moms can learn from my mistakes. And subscribe to my channel for a fresh video every single Thursday. And I want to wish you happy breastfeeding, and I'll see you next week. Bye.